Hunker down. The 100-degree plunge. At first, it was just empty racks where the parkas should have been, ruptured pipes, and rolling blackouts. Then the repair crews started dying of exposure. Hospitals buckled. The cold front wrapped the planet. Even equatorial nations got hit. In a single month, the average temperature fell 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Entire cities flash froze into glassy monuments. Leaves never got a chance to fall, trees powdered where they stood. Rivers and oceans locked solid. There wasn't a drop of liquid water topside. If this were zombies, we'd fight. Against the planet? What then? This isn't a movie. It's real. It's the Icebound End. My phone screamed before dawn. I thumbed accept, annoyed. It was my older cousin, Jenna. What's up, Jenna? It's early. Mira, listen. No jokes. Every word matters. Her tone straightened my spine. Bad family news? What happened? You're scaring me. NOAA's latest models show a record La Niña and a phase change event. High-latitude countries are already in winter. The tell is anomalous warmth first, then a cliff drop in temperatures. Earliest winter in our records. In about a month, a global cold collapse. Think glacial epoch. Like the day after tomorrow, that kind of thing. Silence. Then, your aunt and uncle saw the data at NOAA. No time. We've secured a shelter and stockpiled. You need to prep. Tell your parents, the line cut. I tossed the prank aside and went back to sleep. Next morning, picking up takeout, the air felt wrong. It was November, but the sun bit like July. Bluebird sky. A sweatshirt felt too warm. A week later, still balmy and climbing. Jenna never joked with me. I dialed back. This number is not in service. A cold prickle. Screw it, better paranoid than dead. I called my boyfriend, Alec Keene. That November felt like April. Breeze gentle. Sun kind. Which, I realized, was exactly the problem. I dragged Alec into a big box store and bought nothing but quilts, heat packs, and Arctic-rated down coats. We shoved a mountain of gear to the register under 100 side-eyes. Then I hustled him out. Have this delivered to the house we just rented. Then we sweep the next spot. Mira, are you feverish? He touched my forehead. I'm fine. Deep breath. Jenna doesn't do bits. Her parents are NOAA. She called, told me to secure a shelter and stockpile, said an extreme freeze was inbound. I blew it off. But this heat wave, the drop comes after. 10 minutes later, he didn't look convinced, just convinced enough. He followed me all day, buying a list he thought we'd never use. I'd binged a lifetime of apocalypse films. It turns out watching the end of the world and tasting it are not the same sport. A month. Long enough to waste, short enough to die. I'd already burned a week. Less than 3 remain. While we Ubered to the next store, I posted a thread about the temperature anomaly and a prep list. I'm nobody online. 10 comments. 9 were jokes. 1 wasn't. Handle Aunt Wendy's farm eggs. 3-floor basement is fine, but line it inside and out with anti-freeze grade concrete C40 equivalent F300 freeze thaw. Solar generator is essential, but concrete wind walls and a vacuum glass cap above it. Above ground becomes unlivable plan to move fully underground. It read like she'd been there. I called the best remodeler in town. I paid stupid money to start that day and parroted Wendy's instructions. Money lit the fuse. Fear fed it. Alec tried to lighten it. If the world ends, I'll follow you into the snow. Husband-to-be duties. I would have slugged him if I weren't signing a wire. We had no furniture. Deliveries were days out. I bribed the crew for speed and quality. They finished a day early. I warned them to keep warm. The foreman laughed. Look at this sun. Doubt we'll get a flurry. Fine. Don't believe me. We added heaters, rechargeable hand warmers, 72-hour heat patches. I had them core a flue for a future fireplace and ran camera lines to every exterior and stairwell. Then came food and water, 300 cases of instant noodles, 200 of self-heating meals, 50 of snacks, 30 of lifeboat rations, 12 of sausage, 10 of shelf-stable meats, 500 5-gallon water jugs, 100 cases of bottled, 200 sacks of rice, a literal ton of flour, seeds, spices, toiletries, cat litter. Too much to remember. Too little to feel safe. When the house was passable, I fetched my parents, Hugh and Linda. I didn't say apocalypse. I said wedding. Alec's parents were overseas. He spent an hour on the phone coaching them on warming centers and water. At dinner, Dad lectured me about responsibility and not rushing life. Mom wrung her hands. We told them we were out for ring shopping the next day to buy time. I looked at Mom's face and swore not on a book, but on my bones I wouldn't waste Jenna's warning. If the world burned cold, mine wouldn't. The drop began. I juggled contractors, deliveries, and parental questions about venues and cake tastings. I swapped every weak link for antifreeze options. Maxed out cards. Hired a second crew to inspect what the first did and reinforce the wall rock so a cave-in wouldn't entomb us. I liquidated my mini, the new condo, the bags I once thought timeless. Took a loan and bought more stock. Parkas beat Prada. Alec wired me his savings without a word. By then, the first basement level bulged. I added meat for deep freeze. Bourbon because warmth. We kept our parents out of the loop. Not cruelty. Survival. On the last calm day, Alec steered me into a jeweler. Now? I asked. So your parents believe it, he said. We sipped hot cocoa, maybe the last for a long time, and stared at a ring that cut light like ice. The saleswoman spun a story about forever. We left with a polite promise to consider it. Outside, biology called. I sprinted to the restroom and back. Alec was staring at a hot pot place like it was art. You're drooling. Let's go. My treat since you sent me your secret cash. He paid anyway. I scolded him the whole walk to the wholesale mart, where we filled a flatbed with cookware, toiletries, games, cards. Back home, my parents stood stunned at the mountain we unloaded. Then, I told them the truth. Is your aunt's family okay? Dad asked, voice shaky. They've got a shelter. We'll be okay. We shuttled gear to the basements. When we finally sat, Dad's face had the set of a man who can add. Mom still shook her head. Is this really the end? No one answered. We didn't need a word to admit we were betting our lives on a rumor and a model. Mom stood. Get the car. We're sweeping the 24-hour stores. Dad grinned at me. We'll scrounge. Order takeout. We'll ruin a proper dinner. Stay, I started. We'll be back, Dad said. Take care of our girl. Alex soothed me. They need to move. They think they stole hours from your wedding, not your winter. Let them help. I'm scared, I said. Not a line from a movie. The whole of me shaking. We talked through childhood, school, the first look that actually landed. Then the sky went wrong. No moon. Still bright. A dark red dome like the atmosphere was bleeding. It's going to snow, Alex said quietly. The first flake kissed my palm. My parents will find them. We reached the driveway as a Jeep and a box truck pulled up. Mom waved from the passenger seat. I collapsed into her arms. You'd think we'd been gone a year. She brushed my tears away. Dad snorted. It's snowing red sky weirdness. We drove slow. You want your caretakers alive, right? The movers started unloading. Dad tipped like a man who wanted a memory attached to this day. He popped the trunk, snacks, cards, a board game pile, even code names. He looked almost bashful. You loved games as a kid, he muttered. We all laughed and hauled until midnight. Men on heavy, women on light, that old ritual of togetherness repurposed for siege. By morning, the flakes were baseball big. Alex's parents checked in safe and stocked. We watched as the snow thickened and the HOA-rich neighborhood perks announced full heat and security. Dinner was Dad's show. Braised green beans, cola wings, shrimp, beer-braised fish, egg drop soup. All Alex's favorites. Where's my pork knuckle? I pouted. You're tiny, Dad said. He's 6'3" in a rail. I'm 5'3" and 82 pounds. I lied and inhaled another wing. For a few hours, warmth wasn't just about BTUs. By day 3, feet of accumulation. City News promised heat tomorrow. The national feed record snow, blizzard warnings from coast to coast. Stay put became law, then plea. We cracked a window to test the air. A slap of cold shut it fast. Mom and Dad took brisk walks, crowing at each other's stamina. Alec cooked. We jogged the halls in layers. The sky stayed red. The snow eased, then stopped on day 5. 2 weeks passed. The sun never showed. The ceiling of the world glowed bruise red. Post-storm, it got colder. Scarves and masks for quick yard checks. Streets emptied. We bought more produce, then watched prices spike 5-fold, 10-fold. Everyone hoarded. My parents added meds we'd missed. Inside, we held 82 degrees Fahrenheit with the furnace. Outside, minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit and falling. Hospitals closed to all but the dying. Coastal ice formed. A skyscraper's facade shattered in a southern city on the newsfeed. In another, it hadn't stopped snowing in weeks. Our district was still okay if you stayed indoors. The mall across the boulevard turned into an official shelter. Sirens became the neighborhood soundtrack. A week later, the house felt cooler. Thermostat said 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Alec nudged the heat up. Non-essential work paused. The city pushed. Only heat crews moved. Neighbors fled for shelters. HOA chat exploded squalor at the mall. Cold concrete floors, ration bars. Others mocked the panic. It's just snow. A ping in the HOA chat. Anybody have kids' fever meds? Please. I remembered the snowball kids. We brought meds and a bag of food to a townhouse. The couple snatched it, shut the door. A day later, he's better. Thank you. Any extra food? I lied. We're tight too. Please stock up. Alec and I agreed no more. Not because we were cruel, because we were visible now. That night, we doom-scrolled disaster maps. Mom read aloud, city temp hit minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit in less than a month. At that exposure, you pass out, Dad said. We moved everything from the first floor to the basement. Planned the retreat upstairs while the grid holds underground when it fails. It fell to minus 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Snow resumed. Cars streamed to shelters. The same neighbor texted again, please help. We're out. Our kid will starve. I started to ignore it. Mom saw. Mira, share. We'll never eat all this. I told her it wasn't their first ask. She went quiet. Dad, don't make us targets. Not now. Mom swallowed, nodded. You're right. I typed nothing. Sometimes survival is silence. Half a month later, the HOA chat turned feral. Food gone, price gouging everywhere. Folks offered watches for bread, cars for rice. No takers. Our upstairs hovered at 61 degrees Fahrenheit on full heat. Many finally left for the mall. Then photos padlocked shelter doors. Second floor windows crammed with faces. No room. The line outside exploded. Glass shattered. The parking barrier folded. Sirens wailed. Police tried, failed. People flooded in. Gunshots cracked. Dad yanked our curtains shut. Laws go quiet when the wind howls loud enough. The HOA chat pinged again from the family we'd helped B3 has stock. She refused me. We need to share or we'll die. That was our address. Gratitude has a half-life. We move now, I said. Upstairs is bait. Cameras are live. Kill the HVAC. Remotes with us. Go. Pounding started at our front door before we hit the basement stairs. Metal on wood. A crack. A shot. We sealed 3 doors, steel fingerprint, deadbolt. Mom and Dad stared. Grenades won't open that, I said. I paid for ballistic. Basement temps were cool, not killing. Level 1 and 2 were storage. Level 3 was home's 6 rooms, 2 for sleeping, 4 for overflow, kitchen galley squeezed by sacks of rice. On camera, they swarmed our ruined foyer. Guns. Axes. We watched them fight each other over the crumbs we'd left. The Trader family's kid stuffed vegetables under his coat. A muscle-bound man took over. Brock Tanner. Every suburb has one, a bully built like a freezer. They found our first vault door and went at it with sledge, then crowbar. Scratches only. They camped in our wrecked living room. Decided to wait out the rats. We watched. We learned. A week in, food politics turned to murder. Brock shot 2 men who challenged his rationing. I gagged and ran to the bathroom. Dad rubbed my back. Mom made tea. Alec narrated so I wouldn't have to watch 3 women left. 1 man. 2 women left. 1. Then Brock dragged in the Trader family, Kevin, Trish, and their kid Evan, plus a haul he'd looted from them. You reap what you broadcast, Alec said. I nodded and didn't say the other part out loud. We did this by helping once. A month later, I was upright again when Brock pulled a grenade from a duffel. Dad. Alec. We crowded the screen. He set it at the hinges, saw the camera, and grinned straight into the lens. Boom. The first door warped barely. 2 more stood between us. He raged until he shook. Then he stopped, staring into the camera again, breathing fog in our foyer. We're safe down here, Mom said, squeezing my hand. For now, I answered. Heat failed citywide. Somehow, our power and internet held thanks to the roof solar and the neighborhood's microgrid. The cameras piped over local radio links if the net blinked. Upstairs fell to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Brock slept in full kit to keep his fingers. Outside plummeted to minus 85 degrees Fahrenheit. The descent had a rhythm 3 to 4 degrees a day. Minus 90. Minus 112. Minus 128. I couldn't eat. Mom bullied me into it. If zombies show up, you and Alec are on point. I snorted, chewed. Then, one day, Brock looked into the lens, smiled, shouldered an axe, and walked up to the roof. A minute later, our cameras at the solar shed caught him prying the door and smashing the array controller. He leaned into the lens. If I'm dying, you're dying. He lay down in the drift and went still. The lights went out. The hum died. The basement went black. We have a spare unit, I said. On the roof. I never learned to swap it. Dad cracked his knuckles. I built a company on this. Wait, I started. No power, no heat. We die slow. We layered them in 2 down suits, taped heat packs into boots, gloves, spines. It was minus 148 degrees Fahrenheit out there. Our breath smoked even in level 1. Alec looked at me. I'm going with him. I won't lose either of you. You won't. He kissed my forehead. We added 1 more layer each. Mom hugged Dad without letting go. Then, all 3 of us went. I know an ultimatum when I hear myself give it. Up the stairwell. Level 1's door creaked icicles like fangs. The lobby was a ruin. We shoved a cabinet across the worst of the draft and climbed. My eyes streamed. My throat clawed at air. 5 minutes topside felt like knives. We reached the roof. Minus 148 degrees Fahrenheit feels like space. We swapped the controller by muscle memory and prayer. I padlocked the shed. A hump of snow near the parapet held Brock's final shape. Then a slam below. A crew shoved past our makeshift barricade. Their leader, Brenda Pike, broad-shouldered, looked up and saw us. She bellowed. They swarmed the stairs. Fire stairs, I said. Now. We spiraled down as they pounded the main stair. When Brenda reached ground, our vault door clicked shut behind us. We stripped gloves. Both men's hands were purpled wood. Mom grabbed warmers and water. The lights flickered and came back. Net was still dead, but the local link pushed our cameras. Brenda tried our doors, cursed, and then locked us in from her side, as if that mattered. A week later, she left with our spare blankets. She was loud and dumb, the deadly combination. Then, the outside hit minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Our roof array finally gave up in the dark of noon. Plan C, Alex said. Fireplace. We'd cut a flue to a sealed port on one with vacuum glass and a knockout tab. What if the cap's ice welded? Mom asked. Then we make it not ice welded, Dad said, already suiting up. If I lose hands, I lose hands. We didn't say goodbye. We rarely do, when it matters. We watched on cameras as they reached the flue. Alec jabbed the knockout. Nothing. Dad tried. No go. Then together beat, crack. A slab of ice fell through to 3 and shattered like a mirror. They sprinted back. I opened the door and saw their hands for real. Dad tried to pat my head and could not make his fingers obey. I lit the tinder. Flame breathed, heat licked the room, then smoke rolled. Mom doused it and propped the door to vent up shaft. We waited in the cold and dark and recalculated our lives. Warmers at night, heat patches day, Mom said. No heroes. No martyrs. I slept with 2 hand warmers and told myself it would be enough. It almost was. At dawn, I found Mom cupping her fingers to her breath, pretending not to shiver. How many did you use? 1, she lied. I grabbed her hands. Stone cold. If you save me by lying, you kill me anyway. My voice surprised me by not breaking. If you don't use yours tonight, I won't either. She cried. I cried. Then we made a rule nightly checks. 2 units each minimum, no exceptions. Consequences shared. We moved all 4 of us into one room. Stacked quilts until the bed felt like a bunker. I slept, finally. 6 more months. Outside, stabilized at minus 202 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside, we hovered around 52 degrees Fahrenheit by hacks, patches, and stubbornness. Then whir. The air handler kicked. A lamp blinked on. Power, Alex said, unnecessary and holy. Cell bars crept from 0 to 1 to 2. 4G, then nothing, then back. I opened the national feed. Government Bulletin Lania Ice Event confirmed. Spacesuit-grade garments in limited production. Partial grid restoration underway. Heat lines prioritized. We will not abandon survivors. Comments were few. Either we were rare or the net was. Drone footage showed a sculpture world cities, faceted in rhyme, wind driving spindrift like sand. We shed a layer. We breathed. It wasn't just us. Reports dripped in from everywhere. The equator wasn't spared. Average surface minus 216 degrees Fahrenheit. On shortwave and a spotty TikTok scroll, a figure in a white suit worked a solar array that looked familiar. To whoever owns this, I fixed your controller and added a protective shroud. Should hold to minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't give up. I messaged, we're alive. Underground. Thank you. He replied with credentials: Shane Cole, senior mechanical tech on a federal task force. He asked our address for a later evac to a subterranean refuge, the Argo Line. I sent it. Alec glanced at me, then at Shane's photo. Young, competent, annoyingly handsome, and pretended not to scowl. I pretended not to grin. 3 more months on partial grid felt like civilization. We played cards. Dad's and Alec's hands healed to numb, then to clumsy. Shane went silent, read receipts, no replies. Fine. If this room and this fireplace were the rest of our lives, they were ours. Then a concussion shook the stairwell. The vault door opened to a team in white suits. The lead popped his helmet. 2 crescent-tooth smile. Brown eyes. Hi, I hate cilantro. My TikTok handle. I laughed. Shane Cole. The Solar Whisperer. In the Eva flesh. 6 suits. 1 for each of you. We'll move your supplies, too. The government isn't here to confiscate. Donate a single sack of rice, and Argo assigns you a private module. Dad saluted with his good hand. Take 2. Got heat and AC down there? Passive stays temperate. Active systems if you want. Sold? Dad beamed. Mom did the zipper work. He couldn't. Alec took my hand. We left the room we'd survived in for 2 years. We passed the first-floor corner where my neglect had built a cat litter mountain. I blushed in a spacesuit. Shane tried not to laugh and failed. Alec gave him a look that said mine in every language. Boyfriend spicy, Shane murmured, amused, not unkind. Argo wasn't a myth. Hundreds already lived in the honeycomb. Search teams were still sweeping for survivors. Civilization is a light that hates to go out. We traded a bag of rice and got a little home with power, water, air, and doors that locked from the inside. Above us, the world stayed glass. Below, we set the table. Hope is heat you can't see. It still warms. The end.